Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica Flynn and I am the owner and maker of Flynn Sisters Boutique. And today I'm going to show you a really fun and simple kind of Halloween / fall inspired design. I'm also going to show you guys how I would fix a bad ombre. I didn't plan on doing that in this video. However, I really screwed up the first one that I made and I didn't have time to film a second. So I'm going to show you how I would fix it. This one's really quick and easy, and I just think it's so cute, so beautiful. I was really inspired by this nail set that I saw on Pinterest, and I thought it would look absolutely adorable on a cup. So I'm gonna have all the products that you see in this video listed and linked down below in the description box. You may even find some discount codes for you there as well. And you guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out. So that's enough chit chat for me. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, you guys, so as usual, I'm starting with a fully prepped and sanded cup. If you need help on how to prep your tumblers, I'll have a video linked down below in the description box that you might find helpful. I'm going to start spray painting my orange color first. We're kind of going for like a 3-color ombre with this tumbler. So I'm going to be doing orange, brown, and black, okay? I want the orange to be the main focal point of my design, so that's why I have it up there towards the top of our cup. And I don't want too much of this brown. I will have the spray paint colors that I'm using listed down below in the description box if you want to use these same ones. But really all I'm doing here is spraying out my ombre really far from the cup. The further away that you have your spray paint nozzle, the wider the fan of color that you'll get and the easier it'll be to blend. I usually have to go over each color a couple times until I get the proportions that I want for the colors as well as the blend. The blend on this is not as important as I'm making it out to be with how much detail I'm putting into this paint, because we are going to use really like pigmented metallic colors that aren't like see-through or translucent. So you won't see the spray paint really. It's just to put a good base layer down. All right, and so I let my paint dry for about 20 minutes or so. I put it in front of a small space heater to help speed that process along. And now we're going to apply our glitter. I'm using a small amount of epoxy resin as the adhesive for our glitter. We're doing epoxy method glitter here. So I've mixed 5 milliliters of epoxy, and I'm going to use less than 1 milliliter applied to our cup to apply our glitter. You want to make sure that you have no lines, and you want to make sure that you have a very minimal amount of epoxy on your cup. That's why it helps if we get it warm first, because that's going to help us spread it a little smoother. Okay, so to start with our glitter, I'm using Freckles from Peachy Olive Glitters. That's my main color up there at the top. And I'm just applying that to my cup, aiming at the top rim of the cup with my cup in a 45-degree angle, okay? And I'm just going to very carefully sprinkle the glitter on and letting it cascade down the side of the cup, getting full coverage around the top rim there, but not worried about full coverage on my fade down, because right now we're kind of just writing the rough draft for where we're going to be placing our colors. Next, I went in with the brown, which will be like a transition color that I have between the black and the orange. That brown is Cold Brew from Peachy Olive Glitters. And then, of course, we're using Batman for the black at the bottom. Okay, again, tilting our cup and aiming at the top and bottom rim depending on what color we're working on. I'm going to try and blend more of that center color by putting some more of the brown on, aiming for the bottom rim of our cup and letting it cascade down the side. It's about this time that I realized I applied too much brown glitter. Because at this point I tried to really let it rip with that orange glitter at the top to try and blend it, but it was too late. I put way too much brown on there and I was not able to blend at all. So I was really frustrated by this point. Since I knew how to fix it, I wasn't freaking out too much. So I'm just gonna put this on my rack to dry for about 2 to 3 hours before we move on to the next step. All right, so my cup has been drying for a good 2 to 3 hours, and I'm going to brush off all of that excess glitter into the garbage and aggressively tap it off with some scissors. We want to try and get as much of the excess glitter off as possible. This is also going to reveal just how bad that ombre was, but whatever. So after I get all that excess glitter off, I'm going to put a nice even coat of Loctite Spray Adhesive. This is the Loctite in the green and blue can. It looks like this. It's the multi-purpose adhesive. Do a little test spray in your garbage can or in a box first to make sure that you're getting a good even spray and it's not all like spider webby and gross. You might need to clean your nozzle out if that's the case. And we're just gonna get a nice even coat of that all around the cup. I'm not putting it on the bottom of my cup because the bottom of my cup was fine. The glitter looked good there. All right, so after I got a solid coat of that Loctite all over, we're going to get a second chance at this ombre. I'm not going to approach the ombre in the same way though. We're only going to start with the dark color at the bottom, which in this case is the black. And I'm being very conservative this time when I'm sprinkling my glitter. I'm not going to put in any of that middle color yet. Okay, once I get the black on there and get some pretty decent coverage, we'll go back in with the orange. After I tapped off that excess black glitter, I went back in with my orange glitter. This time I have it at a very steep, my cup at a very steep angle. I'm sorry, this is a horrible shot. I was not filming in frame and I just piled on that orange glitter. I realized very quickly it was going to take a lot of orange glitter to blend that line between the brown and the orange, okay? So I was just letting it rip, cascading all the way down the side of the cup, okay, and I just kept going until I could see that I got some of that line, that harsh line from the brown, covered up. So it's already starting to look so much better. I am going to go back in with some of the brown, but this time I'm just going to use the brown from the bottom up. So I'm going to start at the very bottom rim with the brown and blend it like I would have with the black, if that makes sense, okay? And I'm only really using the brown just to kind of add some dimension to the black. I've kind of thrown out the idea that we're going to get a 3-color ombre out of these. I just don't think it's going to happen. All right, so once I did that, I realized that I did want a little more black too, so I sprayed some more Loctite just around the bottom rim and applied a lot more of the black. Okay, obviously this is a lot of glitter work. Normally I do not put this much time and energy into an ombre, but when I mess it up, this is how I work to fix it so I could salvage it. All right, so here we go. That Loctite's going to be dry right away because it stays tacky, so I'm just going to aggressively tap off the excess into the trash, and then I will spray it down really well with some of that clear gloss spray paint. Loctite does not hold glitter as well as like an epoxy adhesive, so we want to really seal this down and make sure our glitter does not move. After that coat of clear gloss spray paint was dry, which took about 15 or 20 minutes, I was ready to apply my first coat of epoxy. This is 30 milliliters of epoxy that I'm applying here. I'm just using Alumilite's fast setting epoxy. It's their amazing quick coat. I'll have it linked down below, as well as a 10% off discount code. I'm going to let this roll for about 2 to 3 hours, and then I'll come back and put a second coat right over the top of this. That second coat is 20 milliliters of the fast setting epoxy again, okay? And I'm going to let this coat dry for about 2 to 3 hours, and then I'll turn my turner off and let it sit for an additional hour before I go in to do my sanding. Remember that your epoxy dry times will vary based on the brand and the type of epoxy that it is. All right, so for our sanding today, I'm gonna do my normal sanding routine. We wanna smooth out that bottom rim. This is kind of a really sharp bottom rim on this tumbler. And we're gonna do our regular sanding routine up at the top rim. I'm going to start with this 60 grit sanding block and expose a fine line of stainless steel up there around the top. This is where our final coats of epoxy will adhere to create the seal for our cup. That way we're establishing the seal on the outer rim rather than the very top rim where it's more vulnerable. After I get this all sanded and nice and smooth, I'm going to rinse it off with some dish soap and water and dry it off with some paper towels, and now we're ready for our decal. All right, and so for my decals today, I'm using this really cool like star and moon pattern that I put together using shapes that I found on Creative Fabrica. If you guys don't have a subscription to Creative Fabrica, you can join below with my link in the description box. Your first month is just $1, and then it's $19 a month every month thereafter. So a great deal. Go check it out. The Witch Don't Hex My Vibe decal I created myself using the GoDaddy Studio app. I transferred this pattern in kind of like sections so it would be easier rather than wrapping it all the way around the cup, because this cup is tapered. So I figured that would be a bit of a challenge, and I ended up changing the pattern up a little bit once I got it on the cup just by transferring like small sections at a time. I kind of rearranged some things. All right. And as far as this pattern goes, I really just ungrouped the images that I got from Creative Fabrica and then resized them and then repositioned them on my canvas in Cricut Design Space. And then once I was satisfied with the size and positioning on the stars and moon, I selected them all and attached them so that it would cut in like one full strip. Paying attention to the width around my cup, I knew that I needed at least 11 inches of pattern because it's 11 inches around the width of my tumbler. All right, I hope that all makes sense. You guys have seen me do like my own patterns on here many times, so I don't want to go too far into detail with that. All right, and then once I was done with my decals, I was ready to apply my final coats of epoxy. I applied this coat. This is just 20 milliliters of epoxy. I waited about 4 to 6 hours for this one to dry, and then I applied a second coat right over that, and we were done. So for my second coat, I am using Alumilite's Amazing Clear Cast, just the regular formula. You can apply a regular formula epoxy right over the top of that fast setting epoxy, no problem. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. And if you liked my video, please be sure to give us a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I upload new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And a big thank you to all of our Flynn Sisters exclusive members. Thank you for your pledge. Your support means the world to our channel. If you love this video, you could check out our last video here. Also be sure to find us on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and of course subscribe for all our new videos that come out every Wednesday and Saturday. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.